The restraining order was granted on a Thursday. By Friday morning, the entire family knew. Not because I told them, but because my mother made sure of it. I got the first text from a cousin I barely knew at 7 in the morning. Heard about the court thing. That's pretty extreme, don't you think? Translation. Your mother called me and told me you're out of control. I didn't respond. By noon, I had 6 more messages, all variations of the same theme. Is everything okay? Your mom is really worried. Don't you think a restraining order is too much? I deleted them all, because this was the pattern. When direct pressure didn't work, they moved to social pressure. When I wouldn't engage with them, they'd send other people to engage for them. But I'd learned something over the past 3 years. Other people's opinions of my boundaries are none of my business. That afternoon, Karen stopped by my desk. Just wanted to give you an update, she said quietly. No calls this week? First time in a month. The restraining order was granted yesterday. She nodded slowly. That explains it. How are you feeling? Relieved. Tired. But good. Well, whatever happens from here, you did the right thing. No one should have to deal with what you've been dealing with. Thanks. She hesitated. Just keep your guard up. Sometimes people escalate right after legal action. If anything feels off, you let me know immediately. I will. She walked away, and I went back to work, but her words stuck with me. Sometimes people escalate right after legal action. I'd seen it before. When someone loses control, they don't always back down. Sometimes they double down. That evening, Jason called. Hey, saw your text about the restraining order. Congratulations. Man, how does it feel? Strange. Strange. Like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. You think she violated? I don't know. Part of me thinks she'll stay away now that it's official, but another part thinks she's too far gone to stop. What does your lawyer say? He says most people comply once the order is in place, but he also told me to stay vigilant for the first few weeks. Are you worried? I thought about it. Not worried. Who's aware? That's smart. You need anything? No, I'm good. Thanks for checking in. Always. We hung up, and I made dinner. Normal things, quiet things. The kind of routine that keeps you grounded when everything else is chaos. Saturday morning started peaceful. I went to the gym, came home, made breakfast. Around 10, my phone rang. My father. I almost didn't answer, but something told me I should. Hello, David. It's Dad. Hey! He was quiet for a moment. I wanted to talk to you about the restraining order. Here we go. Okay, your mother is very upset. She thinks you went too far. I know she does. She wants you to drop it. That's not going to happen. David, Linda violated the order before the ink was even dry on the paperwork. She contacted Sarah again yesterday, sent her a long message about how I've ruined her life. That's exactly why the order exists. My father's side. I didn't know that. Because Mom didn't tell you. She's only telling you the parts that make me look bad. He was quiet. Your mother wants to meet with you. Face to face. Just the two of you. She thinks if you could just talk, you could work this out. There's nothing to work out. I set a boundary. The court enforced it. That's the end of the story. She's your mother, David. She's hurting. No. And I'm sorry she's hurting. But her pain doesn't obligate me to remove my protection. She thinks if you could just hear her out. Dad, I've heard her out for 3 years. I've listened to every excuse, every justification, nothing changed. She chose Linda over me every single time. I'm done hoping she'll choose differently. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then, quietly, what if she apologizes? I felt something tightened in my chest. For what? For everything. For not believing you. For enabling Linda? For all of it. Has she said she wants to apologize? Not in those words. But she's devastated. David. I've never seen her like this. She was devastated when Linda had an anxiety attack. She wasn't devastated when Linda tried to destroy my career. There's a pattern there, Dad. And until she sees it, an apology doesn't mean anything. Another long silence. Will you at least think about meeting with her? No. David, if I'm almost to apologize, she can write me a letter. Real one. Not an email that blames me for everything. Not a message that asks me to understand her pain without acknowledging mine. A real apology that names what happened and takes responsibility for her part in it. I'll tell her thanks. I love you, son. I love you too, Dad. We hung up, and I knew what was coming next. Subject line. Please read this. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. Part of me didn't want to. Part of me knew it would just be more of the same. But I opened it anyway. David, I'm writing this because your father said you won't meet with me in person. I don't understand why you're being so cold, but I'm going to try one more time to reach you. I need you to know how much pain you've caused this family. The restraining order was cruel and unnecessary. Linda made mistakes. Yes, but she was trying to help. She was worried about you, and instead of appreciating her concern, you've turned it into this legal nightmare. Do you have any idea what it's like for me to watch my son destroy my sister? Do you have any idea how humiliating it is to have family members ask me why you took Linda to court? I've spent 3 years trying to hold this family together, and you've spent 3 years tearing it apart. I don't know what happened to the sweet, kind boy I raised. The David I knew would never hurt people like this. He would never choose revenge over family. I'm begging you to reconsider. Drop the restraining order. Come to dinner. Let's sit down like adults and work this out. I promise I'll listen. I promise I'll try to understand. But you have to meet me halfway. Please, David. I'm your mother. Love you. Don't let this destroy us. Mom, I read it twice. Then I closed it. Not because I was angry, but because I finally understood something. She was never going to get it. No matter how many times, explained. So I didn't react at all. I didn't respond to the email. I didn't call her. I didn't defend myself. I just closed my laptop and went about my day. Monday morning, Eric texted me. Your mom is making the rounds again. Called me yesterday. Asked if I'd talk to you about dropping the restraining order. I told her, no. Thanks. She's desperate. Man, I've never heard her like this. No. My dad called Saturday. Said she wants to meet. Are you going to? No. Good. It's a trap. I know. She's telling people you're refusing to even talk to her. Playing the victim card hard. Let her. You're not worried about how this looks. To who? The people who already think I'm the problem. They were never going to change their minds anyway. Eric was quiet for a moment. You're right. You good though. Yeah. Will. Do I put my phone away and got back to work? Because that's what quiet revenge looks like. Not the dramatic confrontation. Not the angry response. Not the need to defend yourself to people who've already decided you're wrong. Just consistency. Just boundaries. That evening, Sarah called. Hey, you got a minute? Yeah, what's up? Your mom called me today. Asked me to set up a meeting between you and her. What did you say? I said if David wants to meet with you, he'll reach out himself. She didn't like that. I'm sure she didn't. She tried the guilt trip. Said I was keeping a mother from her son. I told her that's not how boundaries work and hung up. I smiled. Thanks for having my back, always. But David, I need to tell you something. Her tone shifted. What is it? I saw Linda yesterday at the grocery store. My stomach tightened. Did she approach you? No. But she saw me, and the look she gave me. It was intense. Like pure hatred. Did she say anything? No. But she stared at me the entire time I was in the checkout line. It was unsettling. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. It's not your fault. I just wanted you to know. In case she's escalating, I'll let my lawyer know. Good. Be careful. Okay, I will. We hung up, and I immediately called my lawyer. Linda was spotted staring down Sarah at a grocery store yesterday. No direct contact, but it felt threatening. I'll make a note. If it happens again, Sarah should file a police report. Even without direct contact, stalking behavior can be documented. Understood. David, we're in the danger zone right now. First few weeks after a restraining order is when violations are most likely. Stay alert. I am. Good. Call me if anything happens. I hung up and sat there for a moment. The calm before the storm. That's what this felt like. Tuesday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls. All from my mother. Between 2 and 5 in the morning, no voicemails. Just calls. I stared at my phone, feeling my chest tighten. This wasn't normal. Even for her, this wasn't normal. I called my father. He answered on the first ring. David? Dad? What's going on? Mom called me 17 times in the middle of the night. He exhaled slowly. She's not doing well, son. What does that mean? She's been up for 2 days. Hasn't slept. Keeps saying she needs to talk to you. That if she could just explain things, you'd understand. Dad, I know. I told her you need space. But she's not hearing me. She's fixated. I felt a chill run down my spine. Is she safe? Physically, yes. But mentally, I'm worried about her. Have you thought about getting her help? Therapist? Someone professional. I suggested it. She said therapists are what got us into this mess in the first place. Of course she did. Dad, I can't fix this for her, and I can't sacrifice my boundaries to make her feel better. You understand that, right? I do. But David, she's my wife, and she's falling apart. I'm sorry, primera li M. But this is something she has to work through on her own. He was quiet for a long moment. What if she shows up at your apartment? My blood went cold. Has she said she's planning to? Not directly, but she keeps talking about needing to see you face to face. About how this can't be resolved over phone calls and emails. Dad, if she shows up at my apartment, I'll call the police. David, I'm serious. I've set a boundary. If she violates it, there are consequences. She's your mother, and I'm her son. That goes both ways. He didn't respond. Dad, I need you to hear me. I love Mom, but I can't help her by letting her cross my boundaries. If she needs help, get her professional help. But don't ask me to be her therapist or her punching bag. All right, he said quietly. I'll do what I can. Thank you. We hung up. And I immediately called my lawyer. My father just warned me that my mother might show up in my apartment. Is she part of the restraining order? No. Just Linda. Then legally, she can show up. But if she becomes aggressive or refuses to leave when asked, that's trespassing. You can call the police. Understood. Do you want to add her to the restraining order? I thought about it. Not yet, but I might need to. Let me know. We can file an emergency amendment if necessary. I spent the rest of the day on edge. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. Every time I heard footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment, I tensed. But nothing happened. Just silence. Wednesday afternoon. I got a text from an unknown number. David, this is Patricia. Your mom gave me your number. Please, don't be mad. I'm not trying to pressure you. I just wanted you to know that Margaret is really struggling. I've never seen her like this. I don't know if you're aware, but she's barely eating. She's not sleeping. She's obsessing over this situation to the point where it's affecting her health. I know you have your reasons for the boundaries you've set, and I respect that. But as someone who cares about both of you, I'm asking you to consider reaching out. Even just a brief conversation. Sometimes people need to hear directly from the person they've hurt that there's still a path forward. I'm not asking you to drop the restraining order or change your stance. I'm just asking you to consider giving her some closure. She's your mom, and she's suffering. Think about it. She answered immediately. David, thank you for calling. Patricia, I appreciate your concern, but I need you to understand something. I've tried for 3 years to communicate with my mother. Every time, she's dismissed my feelings, defended Linda, and made me the problem. This isn't about me refusing to talk. It's about her refusing to listen. No, I've seen Italiano. That's why I signed the letter. Then you know that reaching out to her now won't help. She doesn't want closure. She wants compliance. She wants me to drop the restraining order and pretend everything's fine. Patricia was quiet. You're right. But David, I'm genuinely worried about her mental state. So am I. But that's not something I can fix. She needs professional help, not a conversation with me. I suggested therapy. She said you'd poisoned the whole family against therapy with that mediation stunt. I almost laughed. Of course she did. I don't know what else to do. Your father is at his wit's end. Rachel is angry at everyone. Linda's in hiding. And Margaret is spiraling. I'm sorry. Primera rea, li, eme. But Patricia, I can't set myself on fire to keep other people warm. If Mom wants to heal, she needs to take responsibility for her part in this. Until she does that, there's nothing I can do. She sighed. Primera, Handwritten. I just had to try. No, and I appreciate that you care. But please don't give my number out again without asking me first. You're right. I'm sorry. It's okay. Take care of yourself, Patricia. David. I hung up and blocked the number she'd texted. Not out of anger, but out of necessity. Because I knew what was coming. They were going to keep trying, keep pushing. Thursday evening, I was cooking dinner when my building's buzzer rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I walked over to the intercom and pressed the button. Yes, David, it's me. It's Mom. Please lend me up. I just want to talk. My heart sank. Mom, I can't do this right now. Please, please. I drove all the way here. Just give me 5 minutes. No, David, I'm your mother. You can't just shut me out like this. I'm not shutting you out. I'm maintaining a boundary. If you want to communicate, you can write me a letter. A letter? David, we're family. We should be able to talk face to face. We've tried that. It didn't work. Because you walked out. Because you didn't hold Linda accountable. There was silence on the other end. Then, her voice breaking. I'm begging you. Please. Just let me come up for 5 minutes. I promise I'll leave after that. I just need to see you. I closed my eyes. Every instinct in me wanted to say yes. To let her up, to give her those 5 minutes. Because she was my mother. Because I could hear the pain in her voice. Because maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. But I'd learned something over the past 3 years. Hope is dangerous when it's based on someone else changing. Mom, I love you, but I can't see you right now. Please, go home. David here. If you don't leave, I'm going to call building security. Silence. Then, quietly. I can't believe you do this to me. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm protecting myself from your own mother, from anyone who won't respect my boundaries. I heard her breath catch. Then the line went dead. I stood there for a moment, staring at the intercom. Then I walked to my window and looked down at the street. She was standing on the sidewalk below, looking up at my building. Just standing there. Staring. I stepped back from the window and called my father. She's at my apartment. No, she left an hour ago. I tried to stop her. She's standing outside right now, just staring at the building. I'll come get her. Thank you. David, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. She's not well. I don't know what to do anymore. Get her professional help. Dad, this is beyond what family can fix. I'll try. We hung up. I watched from the window as my father's car pulled up. 20 minutes later, I watched him get out and walk over to my mother. I watched her collapse into his arms, sobbing, and I watched them drive away, and I felt nothing. Not anger, not guilt, not sadness who's to cold. Clear certainty that I'd made the right choice. Friday morning, I got an email from my lawyer. I heard about the incident at your building last night. Your father called me. He wanted me to know that your mother is seeking psychiatric help. She's been admitted to a treatment facility for evaluation. He asked me to pass along that message and to assure you that you're safe. I read it twice. Then I called him. Is this real or is this manipulation? I verified it. She was admitted to a private psychiatric facility yesterday evening. Voluntary admission. Your father provided documentation. How long will she be there? Minimum 72 hours for evaluation. Could be longer depending on what they find. Okay. How are you feeling about this? Honestly, relief. She needs help. Real help. And maybe now she'll get it. Just be aware that when she's released, she might try to contact you again. People sometimes come out of these programs feeling like they've fixed everything and expect immediate reconciliation. I'll be ready. Good. Keep me posted that evening. Sarah, Khalid, I heard about your mom. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Do you feel guilty? I thought about it. No. I feel sad, but not guilty. Good. Because you didn't put her there. Her inability to accept boundaries put her there. I know. The group wants to get together this weekend. Dinner at my place. You in? Absolutely. Good. We'll see you Saturday at 6. I hung up and looked around my apartment. Quiet. Peaceful. Mine. This was what freedom felt like. Not the absence of family, but the absence of chaos. Saturday evening, I arrived at Sarah's house. At 6. Eric was already there. So were Caro, Jessica, and Michael, Tom, and Patricia arrived 5 minutes after me. We gathered in Sarah's living room, and for the first time in 3 years, I was sitting in a room full of family who actually wanted me there. Not because they felt obligated, not because someone guilted them into it, but because they chose to be there. Sarah poured wine and we settled in. Before we eat, Sarah said, I just want to say something. This group exists because we all chose truth over comfort. We chose accountability over enabling, and we chose to support each other even when it got hard. I'm proud of us. And I'm glad we're here. True, Eric said. To truth, we echoed. We ate dinner and talked about normal things. Work. Hobbies. Plans for the summer. No one mentioned my mother's hospitalization. No. One mentioned Linda. No. One mentioned the restraining order. We just existed together without all the weight, and it felt good. After dinner, we moved to the living room with coffee. That's when Jessica spoke up. Can I ask you something, David? Sure. Do you think your mom will ever get it? Like, really understand what she did wrong? I thought about it for a moment. Honestly, I don't know. Part of me hopes she will, but another part has accepted that she might not. And I'm okay with that now. How did you get to that place? Michael asked, because I'm still angry at my parents for their part in all this. Time, distance, and therapy. A lot of therapy? Carol leaned forward. I've been thinking about that conversation I had with Linda. when she admitted she contacted your workplace, but didn't think she did anything wrong. That's what haunts me. The complete lack of awareness. That's narcissism, Patricia said quietly. I've been reading about it since all this happened. People with narcissistic traits genuinely believe their intentions, excuse their actions. Linda believed she was helping, so in her mind, the outcome doesn't matter. And my mother enabled it, I said, because acknowledging what Linda did would mean acknowledging her own failure to protect me. Margaret isn't a bad person, but she made bad choices, and she's so invested in those choices that admitting they were wrong would destroy our sense of self. Exactly, I said. That's why she can't apologize. A real apology would require her to see herself as someone who failed her son, and she can't hold that image of herself. So what happens now? Jessica asked. Now I live my life with or without her in it. The ball is in her court. If she ever gets to a place where she can take real accountability, I'll consider reconnecting, but I'm not holding my breath. That's really mature, Eric said. It's not maturity. It's survival. We talked for another hour. About boundaries. About family myths. About the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. When I left that night, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because the situation was resolved, but because I finally had people who understood. Sunday afternoon, my father called. Hey, Dad. David, I wanted to update you on your mother. How is she? She's struggling, but she's talking to doctors. They're evaluating her for depression and anxiety. She might need medication. That's good. I mean, it's hard, but it's good that she's getting help. She's been asking about you. What's she saying? She wants to know if you'll visit her. I closed my eyes. Dad, I can't do that. I understand. I told her you probably wouldn't. She didn't take it well. I'm sorry. David, the doctors have been asking about family dynamics, about what led to her breakdown. I told them some of it. About Linda, about the restraining order, about the mediation that didn't happen. And they asked if I thought Margaret had been enabling harmful behavior. I said yes. I felt something shift in my chest. What did Mom say when she found out you told them that? She was angry at first, said I was taking your side. But her therapist pushed back, asked her to consider the possibility that multiple people seeing the same pattern might mean something. Did she? Not yet. Not yet, but she's starting to ask questions instead of just defending. That's progress. It is. David, I need to ask you something, okay? If your mother gets to a place where she can genuinely apologize, would you be willing to hear it? Yes? But Dad, it has to be genuine. Not I'm sorry you felt hurt. Not I'm sorry but you did this and this. Just I'm sorry. Primera. Why is wrong? Here's what I'm going to do differently. That's fair. And even if she does apologize, it doesn't mean everything goes back to normal. It means we start rebuilding. Slowly. With boundaries. I understand. How are you holding up? He sighed. Honestly, I'm exhausted. I feel like I've been fighting a battle I didn't sign up for. You have been. Part of me is angry at myself for not seeing it sooner, for not standing up for you when I should have. Dad, you're standing up. No, that matters. Does it? Or is it too little, too late? It's not too late. You acknowledged the truth. You're supporting Mom in getting help, and you're respecting my boundaries. Thank you, son. I love you. Dad. Monday morning. I got an email from Linda's lawyer. Subject line. Restraining order. My stomach tightened. I opened it. Mr. Carter. I am writing on behalf of my client, Linda Carter, regarding the restraining order currently in effect. My client wishes to make clear that she has no intention of violating the order and wants to move forward peacefully. However, she feels that the order was obtained under false pretenses and based on exaggerated claims. She is considering filing a motion to dismiss or modify the order based on new evidence. I wanted to inform you of this as a professional courtesy before any legal action is taken. If you wish to discuss this matter, please contact me at the number below. Sincerely, Robert Morrison, attorney at law. I forwarded it to my lawyer immediately. He called me 10 minutes later. This is a bluff. How do you know? Because if they had new evidence, they wouldn't be sending courtesy emails. They'd filed the motion. This is an intimidation tactic. They're hoping you'll panic and agree to drop the order voluntarily. What do? Nothing. Don't respond. Don't engage. If they file a motion, we'll respond in court, but I'm 99% sure they won't. What if they do? Then we present the same evidence we already presented. The restraining order was granted because the evidence was overwhelming. That hasn't changed. This is normal. People who lose in court often threaten to appeal or file motions. Most of the time, it's all talk. Stay calm. I will. And if you get any more communication from Linda or her lawyer, forward it to me immediately. Don't respond to anything. Understood. I hung up and took a deep breath. This was the game. They couldn't attack me directly anymore, so they were trying to attack me legally. But I'd been documenting. For 3 years, I had evidence. They couldn't refute, and I had a lawyer who knew exactly what he was doing. I wasn't worried. I was just tired of the constant battle. Tired of people who wouldn't accept the word no. But primera, what isn't giving up. Not now. Not after coming this far. Tuesday evening, I got a text from Patricia. Margot was released from the facility today. She's home. I thought you should know. She's calmer. But I don't know if she's better. Take care of yourself. I read it twice. Then I responded, thank you for letting me know. I hope she continues to get the help she needs. Patricia replied immediately. She asked me to tell you that she loves you and she's sorry for showing up at your apartment. She knows she crossed a line. I stared at the message. That was the closest thing to an apology I'd gotten from my mother in 3 years. And it was delivered through someone else, because a second-hand apology isn't an apology. It's a test. To see if I'll lower my guard. To see if I'll reach out. To see if I'm ready to come back. But I wasn't. And I wouldn't be not until she could look me in the eye and say the words herself. Wednesday morning, I woke up to a notification. Linda's lawyer had not filed a motion to dismiss. My lawyer sent me a short email. Told you. It was a bluff. They have nothing. Restraining order stands. Smiled. 3 years of documentation. 3 years of boundaries. 3 years of refusing to engage. And it had all paid off. Not because I'd won some grand battle, but because I'd simply outlasted them. Quiet revenge isn't about destruction. It's about endurance. It's about being so consistent, so unmovable, so committed to your boundaries that eventually the people trying to break you just give up because they realize you're not going to break. You're not going to react. You're not going to give them the satisfaction of a response. You're just going to keep living your life, and there's nothing they can do about it. 3 weeks after my mother was released from the facility, I got a letter in the mail. Not an email. A physical letter. Handwritten. From her. Primera. Read that envelope for a long time before opening it. Part of me didn't want to. Part of me knew that whatever was inside would either change everything or confirm that nothing had changed at all. Primera. Made coffee. Sat down at my kitchen table and opened it. Italiano. Dear David, I've started this letter a dozen times, and I don't know if I'll get it right, but I need to try. The past 3 weeks have been the hardest of my life. Being in that facility forced me to look at things I've been avoiding for years. Things about myself. Things about our family. Things about what happened between you and Linda. My therapist asked me a question that I couldn't answer. She asked me, if a stranger had done to your son what Linda did, what would you have told him to do? And I realized that if it had been a stranger, I would have told you to protect yourself, to document everything, to take legal action if necessary. But because it was Linda, because it was family, I asked you to let it go. I asked you to be the bigger person. I asked you to sacrifice your peace so I wouldn't have to confront my sister. That was wrong. Primera, is wrong. I enabled behavior that hurt you. I dismissed your pain. I made excuses for someone who didn't deserve them. And when you finally set boundaries to protect yourself, I punished you for it. I called you cruel. I said you'd changed. I told other people you were tearing the family apart. But the truth is, the family was already broken. I just didn't want to see it, because seeing it would mean acknowledging my part in it. I'm not writing this to ask for forgiveness. I don't know if you can forgive me, and I'm not sure I deserve it. I'm writing this to tell you that I finally see what I couldn't see before. You weren't the problem. You were the only one willing to tell the truth, and I'm sorry it took me losing you to understand that. If you're willing, I would like to talk. In person. Just the two of us. No agenda. No pressure. Just a conversation where I listen instead of defend. If you're not ready, I understand. I'll wait as long as it takes. Or I'll accept that you're done. Either way, I want you to know that I see you now. I see what you've been carrying, and I'm so sorry I made you carry it alone. Love you. I'm proud of the man you've become, and I'm sorry I couldn't see him until now. Mom. Read it 3 times. Then I set it down and stared out the window. This was different. The language was different. The tone was different. There were no excuses. No justifications. No, but you also clauses that just accountability. I picked up my phone and called my father. Did you know Mom was writing me a letter? I knew she was working on something. I didn't know she'd sent it. Did you read it? No. She said it needed to be between you and her. It's different. The leather. It's actually different. No, she's different. Whatever happened in that facility, something shifted. Do you think it's real? He was quiet for a moment. I think she's trying. I can't promise she won't fall back into old patterns, but for the first time in 3 years, she's asking questions instead of defending. That has to count for something. What do you think I should do? That's not for me to decide, son. But I will say this. You've held your boundary. You've protected yourself. You've done everything right. If you choose to hear her out, you're not giving up that boundary. You're just opening a door. And you can close it again if you need to. Thanks, Dad. Whatever you decide. I support you. I sat with the letter for 2 days. I talked to my therapist about it. She asked me what I wanted, not what I thought I should do, not what would make other people happy. What Prometta wanted. I want to hear her out, I said, but I'm scared. What are you scared of? That it's not real. That she'll revert to old patterns the moment I disagree with her. That I'll let my guard down and get hurt again. Those are valid fears. So what would make you feel safe? Boundaries. A time limit. A public place. And the understanding that one conversation doesn't erase 3 years. That sounds reasonable. Can you communicate that to her? Yeah, I think I can. That evening, I wrote my mother an email. Mom, I received your letter. Thank you for writing it. It means a lot that you took the time to put your thoughts on paper, and even more that you took accountability. I am willing to meet with you, but I need to set some boundaries first. 1. We meet in a public place, a coffee shop or restaurant, somewhere neutral. 2. We meet for 1 hour, no more. If the conversation goes well, we can schedule another meeting, but I need to know there's an endpoint. 3. This conversation doesn't erase the past 3 years. It's the beginning of a process, not the end of one. If you can agree to these terms, let me know a few dates that work for you. I sent it. Before I could second-guess myself, she responded 2 hours later. David, I agreed to all of your terms. Thank you for giving me this chance. How about next Saturday at 2 p.m.? There's a coffee shop downtown called The Roastery. It's quiet and neutral. Let me know if that works. I love you. Mom. I stared at the email. This was happening. Saturday at 2 works. I'll see you there. Saturday came faster than I expected. I arrived at the roastery at 1:50-5. My mother was already there, sitting at a corner table. She looked different, older, tired, but calmer. She stood up when she saw me. David, Mom. We sat down. There was an awkward pause. Then she spoke. Thank you for coming. You're welcome. I meant what I said in the letter. I'm here to listen, not to defend, not to explain, just to listen. I nodded. I appreciate that. She took a breath. I want to start by saying that I understand why you did what you did. The restraining order, the boundaries. All of Italiano? I didn't understand before, but I do now. What changed? Therapy. A lot of therapy. They made me look at patterns I'd been ignoring, about how I handle conflict, about how I protect Linda because confronting her feels impossible, about how I made you responsible for keeping the peace instead of holding her accountable. I felt my throat tighten. It's been really hard, I said quietly, feeling like I had to choose between protecting myself and losing my family. You shouldn't have had to make that choice. That was on me. I should have protected you. I didn't. And I'm sorry. The words hung in the air between us. Real words. Simple words. But they mattered. Thank you, I said. Can I ask you something? Sure. Is there anything I can do now to start making this right? I thought about it. Keep going to therapy. Keep asking questions. And if Linda ever tries to contact me again, don't defend her. Don't make excuses. Just acknowledge that what she did was wrong. Primera, caenedo. That we talked for the full hour about the past, about the pain, about what moving forward might look like. She didn't make promises she couldn't keep. She didn't ask me to drop the restraining order. She didn't pressure me to come to family events. She just listened. And for the first time in 3 years, I felt heard. When the hour was up, we stood. Can we do this again? She asked. Yeah. I'd like that. Next month? Next month. She hesitated, then asked, Can I hug you? I nodded. She wrapped her arms around me, and I felt her shoulders shake. I'm so sorry, David. I know, Mom. We pulled apart, and she wiped her eyes. I'll email you to set up the next meeting. Okay. I walked out of that coffee shop feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Not closure, not resolution, but possibility. The possibility that maybe, just maybe, things could be different. That evening, Sarah called. How'd it go? Better than I expected. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. What's next? Another meeting next month. And we'll see where it goes from there. I'm proud of you. Thanks. You know what's crazy? A year ago, none of us thought this was possible. We thought your family was too broken to fix. It's not fixed. But maybe it's fixable. Maybe that's all you need. Maybe. Later that night, I sat on my balcony with a glass of whiskey. I thought about everything that had happened. The wedding, 3 years ago. The anonymous emails. The mediation. That didn't happen. The empty chair. The restraining order. My mother's breakdown. And finally, today, that a conversation where I was heard. I didn't know if my mother would stay in therapy. I didn't know if she'd relapse into old patterns. I didn't know if Linda would ever take accountability. I didn't know if my family would ever be whole again. But I knew one thing. I had protected myself. I had refused to accept unacceptable behavior. And because of that, I was still standing. Not broken. Not bitter. Just free. They wanted me to forgive without apology. They wanted me to reconcile without accountability. They wanted me to sacrifice my peace for their comfort. But I didn't. I held the line. I documented everything. I set boundaries and enforced them. And when they finally broke, I was still whole. Because quiet revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about refusing to let them destroy you.